Hello, and a welcome to Quarterly Book Club Romance. I'm joined by Chloe from Brunette Bibliophile, and we're going to be talking about Priest today. I do want to take a second, though, to totally apologize to Princess from Castle Library because she also read Priest and she was going to join us. And I made a very dumb mistake. I knew that California was like a 3 hour time difference from us, and I went the wrong way when I was thinking about the time difference. So she had totally been planning to join us at 9 p.m. her time, but it's actually 3 p.m. her time right now. So I'm so upset at myself right now for doing that, because she would have been here and I would have loved to have had her here to join us in the conversation. um, and hopefully I can make that up to her somehow, because I really feel pretty crappy about it. But Chloe, do you want to go ahead and just introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Chloe. I run the YouTube channel Brunette Bibliophile. I'm also that on Twitter, Goodreads, Instagram, TikTok, all the various social medias. Um, Priest. So we're doing initial thoughts as well.
So like, I'm going to change this up a little bit. Instead of doing initial thoughts, tell me what you thought this book was going to be like. Like, what were your expectations going into this?
Okay, I don't know if I really had expectations because the thing that brought Priest into my life was, you remember in December when we were at Barnes and Noble and they had that huge table of smut, but
Mm-hmm.
then next to the table on the shelf was Priest, and it was still there the last time we were there a few weeks ago. The staff recommendation thing that said, "I see God in this Chili's tonight," and I don't know why it's so funny to me. There's no Chili's in this book at all, so I don't know where that came from. But I was just like, I have to read this book now. So like I read it, you read it, my coworker has read it. There's hilarious reactions all around. But like I find it to be a guilty pleasure read. So I don't really know what I was expecting from this book. I knew it was a priest, I knew it was a stripper. I don't know. If you're looking for plot, don't come to this book.
I mean, there's still a plot there, I feel like.
Yeah, but it's mm, it's a small plot compared to some other things.
Um, okay. So first I want to say that I was intrigued. I don't read too much smut, and I'm very specific about the sex scenes I like to read. But from like a human nature aspect, I think there is like nothing hotter than like the forbidden, especially like it doesn't have to be like super taboo, but forbidden in the sense where like people are just refraining, right? Like, I don't condone cheating. However, I do understand how two people trying really hard to be monogamous who are attracted to each other, I do understand how that tension builds and can be like super explosive. And so, in my mind, this book was going to be about a very devout priest who was trying everything in his power not to be tempted by this woman, and like just all that tension building. And, I just, that's what I was expecting. But like the moment that she walked into that confessional, oh, wait, like, anyway, so that's what I was expecting. Those were my expectations.
He barely tried.
Yeah, right? So I guess we can
I
go ahead
mean,
and
in
jump
his
into the
defense,
spoilers now. We can jump into the spoiler discussion now. Go ahead, in his
in his
defense.
defense, he had only been a priest for 3 years. It's not like he had been a priest for like 20 years of his life, the most holiest of priests. It had only been 3 years.
It seemed like he had a very strong why, though. And I don't know if the why makes the story more messed up or, like, so in regards to why this dude decided to become a priest, it was because his sister had been sexually abused by the priest in their church, and she ended up unaliving herself because of that. And he wanted to have some kind of purpose. I think he felt terrible because he was the one that discovered her, and it like completely tore apart their community, because at first, like, some parishioners didn't believe it was true. They thought his sister was lying, and then it was all in the media, and then people ended up leaving the church because they couldn't believe something like that happened. So it really like tore apart his community, and he saw that it impacted his parents' faith and just a lot of different things. And so he wanted to be part of the healing process. He wanted to show people that it didn't have to be that way, and that someone could be the priest that the community needed. But like, this is what happens from there. Like, what is the main what are we supposed to draw? What conclusion are we supposed to draw from what happened anyway? I mean, like, it wasn't abuse. God, there's just so many things. There's so many things I don't even know.
I think he needed to shift, which I think he ended up doing that. He needed to shift to having a way to be a good part, like a good Samaritan in his community, in his religious community as well, while not being a priest. Like, he could have done a ton of things. He did, but not as a priest, because that way he could have the love that he wanted while still doing good.
Okay. But so to go back to just like the beginning, it was like the moment she walked into the confessional, he just started to unravel. Like, it didn't feel, again, I don't think this book was written for me, and that's perfectly fine. But it just felt like there was no buildup. I know some people are like, insta love, whatever, but like, not that this was necessarily insta love, but I'm saying it happened almost just as quickly. And I think it just would have been more appealing had there been more buildup. Then there's also the fact that the whole thing is told from like the priest's perspective, so it's from the male perspective. It has like the male gaze, which is not something I'm normally interested in reading anyway, just because men tend to be like so much more carnal and like physical and like, what other word am I looking for? Maybe aggressive. I don't know. So I guess that was a change as well. Go ahead.
I'd like to go to one of my notes that I wrote yesterday that I think perfectly sums up this whole thing, which is believable? No. Good enough to read? Yes. and that's all I got.
I mean, and I think
that's the whole thing,
too.
like, in a nutshell.
That as well. Like, it felt very unbelievable to me. Like, there was no point where I could buy into what was happening. And then you have the sex scenes. Which, like, you go into this knowing that he's a priest, but I did not expect so much religion to be wrapped into the sex scenes, which was both unbelievable, but also blasphemous, but also like just like so over the top.
My friend at work was also reading this roughly around the same time that I was. And one day she's not Catholic, but she's more religious than I am. And I told her, I was like, you must be having a completely different reading experience than me, simply because you go to church every week and I don't. And
oh my, yeah,
I know, right?
What did she say? How did she respond to that?
I don't even remember, but I'll have to ask her again. But she's not Catholic, so I don't know. I don't know where the line is drawn there.
Right. Um, there was just so much, and then especially since like, um, the bishop wanted to have this panel that he was supposed to be on to talk about, like, I don't even know how they phrased it in the book, but just um, to talk about the things that happen in the church, and it was like a big deal. So to have this kind of scandal simmering in the background as that was also taking place was just but I think the part that was just so, like, the fact that it was just so BDSM.
Which I wasn't expecting.
Right? Because why would you? Like, I think that's the part that was like,
Funny
come
enough,
on.
my other friend who has not read this book, when I got to the part with the holy oil, I was like, they're using holy oil. And she's like, what? That is not what you're supposed to use.
It's just,
The amount of hilarious reactions that came out of this book.
do we know if this is a retelling? Because it kind of felt like 50 Shades of Grey if Christian Grey was a priest.
I mean, I don't think it is, but I mean, I guess you could call it that. I think we can all agree that a lot stemmed after 50 Shades became a thing.
It just, like, it seemed like he was this bottled up monster, kind of, that just decided to be a priest, because of all the sister things that happened.
Well, there was like a brief mention of how he used to, I don't know how to phrase it.
Mm-hmm.
He used to sleep around a lot in college.
Right, but it
And
wasn't
like
just that he
his
liked to sleep around. He was like,
yeah, exactly. But it was like briefly mentioned, but like it doesn't go into it even more than that. It's just a brief flicker of a thought, and that's it.
like, it talks about like his growly voice and his, like, commanding voice, and the way he would like talk to women and just have them all like, losing themselves because he would just be commanding them. And that's what I'm saying, like, you immediately, like, the setup is immediately there. I don't know, I think it's in one of her confessions where she kind of alludes to liking that, being told what to do, and then all of a sudden he's like a master and she is the slave, and then it's like
He's like, "Do you now?" Okay, so there is a novella that comes in between Priest and the second book, and I'm wondering if maybe, I don't know what it's about, but I'm wondering if that will give some more insight to some of the questions that we have. It's called Midnight Mass. I know I have it saved on Kindle Unlimited, but it's like 200 pages. That's like way more than a novella, I feel like.
I'm sorry, there's an emergency happening, hold on. Goodness. Okay. Sorry, can you repeat what you just said?
There's a novella
Oh,
that
right,
comes
right,
in
right.
between
Midnight
this one
Mass.
and the second book.
And
Yeah,
is
and
that
I'm
still
wondering if
following
that
these
will have
characters?
more. I don't know. Maybe. I want to know if it'll have more insight into him. But also it doesn't. Yeah, I have it saved on Kindle Unlimited, but I feel like it doesn't feel like a novella because it's like almost 200 pages.
That's,
Trying to find it real
yeah.
quick so I can. Oh no, it wasn't on Kindle Unlimited. It was on something else. Oh, it was on Scribd. It has one of those synopsises that is it's told from the perspective of whoever it is, so it doesn't say so and so is blah, blah blah. So I don't really know who it's about. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to let me check Goodreads and see maybe if there's something. Okay, yes. Okay. So it doesn't say it in the synopsis, but it says in one of the reviews it's 3 years after this. 3 years into their married life. So it does still follow them.
Oh, I see. Okay. Man.
So let me ask you this. Do you think you would continue on with the trilogy?
Yes, but only because I think the covers are really pretty and I feel like I want the matching set. And I'm also kind of curious how the flowers pertain to each story because it does not look like
Yes.
it does not look like
because
the characters are all named by flowers.
I didn't even think about how these were poppies until you said something. I was just like, oh, pretty. I didn't even get to hear. What did you rate the book?
Oh, see, I never feel comfortable rating books like this because I just feel like it's so not written for me that it almost feels like I shouldn't be reading it, so it's not fair for me to read it. I don't know.
I gave it 4 stars.
Okay, I was gonna say if we like, and it's crazy that I'm gonna be over here telling you that I was interested in the plot. But I was like, what is going to happen? Is he going to stay in the church? What is the deal with Sterling? Is this whole thing gonna blow up? Like, so I was very interested in the plot. I feel like it would be unfair to give it a 3, so I probably would lean more towards a 4.
So like a 3.5, maybe. You're somewhere in that range.
I mean, it's more like a 4 based on my adjustments of knowing that I don't read smutty stuff and
Like a
it's
generous
just it's
4.
mostly all a generous 4. It's like it's all my own feelings that I'm just like these are it's my problem. I'm the problem.
I mean, I probably could have given it a 5. I don't know why I didn't give it a 5. It just felt more like a 4. That's what I was vibing with. Like, it was really good. It wasn't great, no, but I had a good time. I thought, all things considered, lack of plot and everything. Um, I I definitely will continue on in the series though.
Well, I think it's interesting that the remaining books are based on the brothers because I wasn't expecting that as I started it. So I am kind of curious to see what the deal with his brothers are.
The second one, he's not the religious one. She's about to become a nun. So maybe she won't become a nun. And then the third one.
I want to know what the author's motivations were for writing this. Like, I wonder if she talks about it, like what inspired her to write this story.
There's an author's note in the front of the book.
Oh, is there? I think I read that, but
I mean, it's only like
is it like
only
a
like
warning,
a paragraph
though?
long, but still. No, that's a separate page.
Oh,
there's another page for that. No, the author's note basically just says she spent a majority of her life in the Catholic faith, and she's no longer Catholic, but still has affection and respect for the Catholic Church. Let's see. That being said, this novel is about a Catholic priest falling in love. There is sex, more sex, and definitely some blasphemy. The fun kind. You've been warned. I mean, you can't say that she didn't tell you.
Right. But did you, because I talked to Kat briefly and I was like, I'm glad you didn't read this. And she was like, why? And I was like, listen, I'm not even religious, but the levels of blasphemy in this book is like...
See, but I feel like Kat should read it. I feel like I want to know what Kat's opinion of this book is, and I feel like it's the low opinion.
I think Kat would feel like she'd have to like wash her eyes out with acid after reading it. Like,
well, she's not Catholic, so
I guess. But like, you know, I'm sure her church still has an altar. I'm sure there's still like holy oil. I think what was a little strange for me was that there was aspects of it that I think were meant to feel taboo, but they just felt weird. They felt like a little creepy and weird versus like exciting kind of taboo. You know, like the way he was, not that having sex can't feel spiritual, right? Because I know that it can. But in some of the scenes where he was equating what they were doing to these like holy experiences, you know, especially when the oil came into the play and he was just like chat, I can't even talk about this seriously. The way he was just
holy
like,
to him.
Mm-hmm. And he was like, I am anointing you.
The thing is, I feel like we can't even have like a normal hour-long live show about this book because it's just, I don't even know. It's just going to be us laughing.
I know. And even funnier, right? Like at some point I stopped and I John walked into the room. And so I said, I think I might be jealous of these people. And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I think I'm jealous of people that can go from like arousal of 0 to 100 in like 2 seconds. Like, how does that happen?
I don't know why I laughed so hard just when you said, I was reading it and John walked into the room and I'm like, because for some reason, well, did you physically read it or did you listen to it?
No, I don't think I could have listened to it. I didn't want to.
Okay, because
did you listen to it?
That's good. But
okay.
No.
Okay.
But no, with you trying to finish the book club books, I associate you with listening to the audiobook and I'm like really John fast. Walked into the room.
No, but this is like, so then we started talking and then I was like, I just don't get it because so much of like my sexual feelings are related to how I feel about someone. So the fact that like people don't even have to know each other and they could just like get that excited is just a wild thing to me. But at some point he started asking me questions. Oh, because I said it's from a man's perspective. And he's like, so is it believable? I said, I don't know. Why don't you tell me? And so I handed him the book. And I don't remember what chapter it was on. Oh, I do remember. So I handed him the book and I made him read 2 pages. And he was like commenting as he was reading. So like it was the chapter where he calls her up because he was waiting till Thursday to see her. And so he just couldn't hold it in anymore. And so John is reading and he was like, what? He's had a semi all day? And he was like, what is this guy, 20? And I was like, he's 28. And he was like thinking about it. He was like, I don't know about that. But then he read like the part where it said he had been celibate for 3 years. And he was like, well, 3 years is a long time to not do anything.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, 3 years is a long time, but it's not like he was a 20-year priest and suddenly he just broke. It was only 3. Can I just point out that last quarter we read a serial killer book, and now we're reading this.
Listen, I like the diversity.
And and then when we talk about next quarter, the book is basically wholesome, I bet.
I bet it probably has like Fade to Black, probably. Oh my god! And then the quarter after that, because we already picked that too.
What are we reading? The quarter?
It's the Mothman. Oh my god!
We are reading a wide selection of romance, and like the last quarter of last year, we read a young adult book. We read 2 young adult books last year.
Yeah, we did. I don't know how we went. Like, has it just gotten incrementally worse?
Yes, but I did pick this. You know what? Here's the thing. I picked this, and we're gonna blame your Barnes and Noble for having the "I see God in this Chili's" line.
Oh my god, yeah.
For the Chili's quote that had nothing to do with the book. Nothing.
See, and then like it's funny because there was another priest book that I had like nominated, which I think was called like Hot Under the Collar or something like that.
I feel like I have that. Or if I don't have it, I have one of them. It's like a companion series, and I have one of them. I want to read it now.
I know. I'm still curious about that one. I think it's like more rom-com-y.
Do you think there's a whole? I'm just gonna Google it. Priest romance.
It's a whole like, genre.
That's what I'm saying, because it's like the same friend that read this book. She was the one who told me about Amish romance. That's a thing. So I'm like, priest romance got to be a thing.
I think one of the ALCs for Libro FM was an Amish romance. I feel like I remember reading that it said that.
So tell me how. Okay, I was about to say, tell me how "Never Never" by Colleen Hoover is on this list. But then
what?
But then
wait, what?
Hold on. Okay, so I googled priest romance books, and priest romance, and I see priest, and I see a book called The Priest, and then I see Midnight Mass. But then I saw the Colleen Hoover book, and I was like, what the hell? It's a sponsored list first. It's not.
Oh, okay. Okay, it's not
just an Amazon sponsored list. It's not. There's one called Almost Priest. Sweetest Sin. And then, Priest, Sinner, Midnight Mass. To Wed in Texas. What? I can't. There's a whole list.
Oh my god.
Oh, and then Goodreads has a list called Sexy Priest Books.
Okay, hold on.
It has 24 books on it.
What did we think about him being a fan of The Walking Dead? I know you were like, well, there has to be something normal about him.
That's what I was just about to say. He has to have something normal. He can't just be all God all the time.
Which I get. But I think that was an interesting choice in TV show, since it's the only one that's mentioned. You know what I mean? Like, he was like obsessed with The Walking Dead. And I wish there had been like more, because you find out that the reason he listens to Britney Spears when he runs was related to his sister. So like, I wish there had been more of an explanation about his passion for The Walking Dead. But the fact that this priest was like spending time on Reddit and like basically internet fighting with other people about like The Walking Dead was interesting.
I mean, when you have no social life outside of your priestly duties, what else are you gonna do? Also, when it comes back down to it, he's still a 28-year-old guy.
Right.
So, I don't know.
What the hell was I doing at 28? I don't even remember. That feels like so far away. um but now what did you think of how jealous he was?
I mean, I think it shows that he became very territorial very quickly, but at the same time, he did have to hear the story
Oh
from
yeah,
Poppy during
that was
confession about,
extensive detail.
yeah, yes, about why she ran away from him. Which, first of all, can you imagine just telling that to
Nope.
literally anybody? Forget a priest.
Yeah.
And exactly. And I mean, I'm like, I don't want to say she had no shame, but like, I wouldn't be able to say something like that to anybody, let alone a priest.
But that even that wasn't that confession the second time she came back? Right? Because the
I
first
think
time
so.
she was just like, "Oh, I have so many sins and I don't know how to feel," and then like she kind of left.
Just
And
try
then
to put
she
some
came
feelers
back.
out there.
Yeah, but then she said she left and she looked up the church website and saw how hot he was, and that's why she came back.
And she's like, I have to come
And
back.
I'm gonna tell him this story. How like how okay, so there were multiple sex scenes that took place in the church. How was there
I
no
was very
concern?
concerned.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How was there
That,
no concern
that's what I'm
of
saying.
like,
How hard is it to just walk to the office? How hard is it to walk to an office? Lock a door. Come on.
can can you imagine? I mean, like neither of us go to church, so like, but walking into a church and seeing that altar scene, like,
Like, I get it. There's no altar inside of the office, but like, have a brain cell, please.
oh my god. And I think right before that, right? Like right before that was that moment where she was praying and crying because she felt God and he also felt God, so they felt God together. God was there.
God was there in that Chili's tonight.
Oh my god. Um they I'm trying to figure out like with the personality that Poppy was given and the way that her background is described, right? Like, yeah, she's a stripper, but also she comes from money and she's super well educated and like so I mean, I guess what the author was just trying to say with Poppy as a character was just that like all her decisions were her own and that like none of what she did or felt came from a place of trauma, which I think was like the big deal there, right? Because he even says that like he hasn't been able to find a girl like her who liked being talked to like I don't personally like to be demeaned in that way, but I understand that there are people who like that. And so, you know, he was saying that whenever he did find a girl that liked being spoken to like that, it was because she had trauma. And then, like, the girls that he used to find that were, you know, super smart and kind and whatever were not interested in being spoken to that way. So she was like the perfect mix, or she was like the perfect ideal mate for him.
She's like, yeah, knock me down a peg.
Oh my god.
I'm like crying from all the laughing.
Um so Millie was a cool character.
I think, Millie was. I think Millie was like the old. She had to be the old lady, um, to give wisdom, and even though even though she was like a grandma, and even though she was Catholic, she was keeping it real.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
she like cursed at him like towards the end of the book, and she's
Yeah.
like, "What? I can't say anything."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but she saw from the beginning the way they were, she saw the chemistry between them. And so she was kind of like, don't bullshit yourself because it's obvious.
And also, she was saying like she thought he was too young to basically like throw his. Trying to find the part where Millie curses.
So, from like a scientific perspective, I don't know what it is about men um not having sex that impacts them. Like, I'm sure it's something. I'm sure it probably has something to do with hormones and testosterone and like other stuff. But I've heard, and we have seen, I think, in society that men who end up being celibate end up being like very aggressive. And I've heard from other people, like other men, just saying that when they're not having sex, that they're angry all the time. And so I just wonder, like, why religion would impose that on men, or like why I don't get it.
Because you're supposed to be devoted to God, and yeah, that's it. You're supposed to be devoted to
Yeah.
God.
I don't know, I just feel like the most beautiful thing in the world is love, and like, yes, you can love God, but if you're also sharing that love with other human beings that you're on this earth with, like, that just seems like the highest purpose in my mind, I guess.
I mean, he said it a lot that he's supposed to be the shepherd, like
Oh
leading the
my god.
flock.
Okay, so this is what made me think of 50 Shades of Grey. Like, you know how she was constantly talking about her inner goddess? That every time she said my inner goddess, I would like roll my eyes. It was just like so frustrating. And every time he said, my lamb, my little lamb, I was like, please
Listen,
stop.
listen. She had her inner goddess. He had
His inner what?
his inner shepherd.
Oh my god. But just that he kept calling Poppy lamb, my lamb. Stay still, my lamb. Don't turn around. Don't look. Do exactly what I'm telling you, lamb.
I can't find the part where Millie cursed, but I don't know. I can't find it.
It was
I
closer to
thought
the
it was.
scene.
Oh, I thought so too, but I still can't find it.
Did you feel like I'm over here focused on the plot? Did you feel like it was predictable? Like, did you know that Sterling was going to show up? Did you know that he was?
No, I didn't think that that was going to happen. Um, but the ending I didn't think was going to happen either. Like, I thought they were going to solve a problem or whatever. Not that she was going to disappear, and then next thing you know, it's like 7 months later. I'm like, what? And he did all this stuff. Like, it was like a year later, right? Something like that. That he found her.
You just muted yourself. I didn't catch the end of that.
Yeah. Oh, it was like a year later that they finally like reconnected. And it was like, I thought this was all going to get solved like 50 pages ago.
I mean, I guess they needed to demonstrate how much he loved her.
I just flipped to the back of the book, and it has a preview for the next book, but it just says,
"Did you read
want
it?
More provocative romance?" No. meet Father Bell's brother, Sean.
Yeah, it's Sean, and who's the third one?
I don't remember who the third one is. The little synopsis here before it goes into the preview. He's talking about how the female character, her name is Zenny, asks him to teach her about sex. He wants to say yes, but there's several reasons why he needs to say no. 1, she's my best friend's little sister. 2, she's too young for me, like way too young. And then 3, she's a nun, or about to be anyway.
That's too much.
I'm totally gonna read the rest of the series.
Like immediately, or like?
No, probably not immediately, but like soon. I don't know. I have Midnight Mass saved on Scribd, but I haven't started it.
Like the text or the audiobook?
The text. I think Sinner is. I think they had both audiobook and ebook, maybe, or just audiobook. Let me take a look, because I know I've had them. I've had a couple of them saved for a while. Maybe I don't have any of them saved. Where is it? Sometimes I just like to save things on Scribd, and I'm like, I'll get back to it at some point, and then it takes a while. Let's see. Saint and Sinner are both audiobooks on Scribd, and for ebooks they only have Saint as an ebook. Did you know she wrote a book with Julie Murphy?
Is it?
It was
that
her and
meat,
Julie.
That meat.
Yeah, the
Christmas meet cute one.
A Merry Little Meet Cute. Yes.
Oh. I think I may
but
have.
I think it's also
seen it.
I think it's also spicy, and I'm like, I've only ever read YA from Julie Murphy. Yeah, but she has like one adult book, but it's not like super spicy. So it's like, what is this? and the cover's so cute too. So it's like,
is it a single story or is it like short stories kind of a thing?
I think it's just one story. I don't know.
Do we have anything else?
I think I've said everything that's in my notes.
Okay, well, I guess question. This book being what it is, would you like I think it's funny because there was a lot of terminology in here that I was unfamiliar with because it's so strongly related to the church and things that are used in the church. So like part of me was like really impressed by that. Like Like she was committed to like so that was kind of cool. But would you have liked to see more scenes in the church or outside of the church in regards to their sexcapades?
I mean, I feel like there was a good mix of both because there was also even that whole one where they drove all the way to that place that she worked.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think there was a good mix of both, but like it's not for the faint of heart. Be
Yeah, I was
prepared
wondering,
because
like as soon as it was like set up with this like master and slave situation from their um interactions, but also this desire to possess one another, right? To belong to one another. I was like, where is the leash? When is the leash and the collar coming out? When is that happening?
listen, they were having the most holiest of experiences.
Oh my god. So, yeah,
Anything
I
else we
guess.
want to talk about this book?
No, no, I think that kind of wraps it up. I mean, I do like that there was some touching upon, uh, feminist ideas in regards to how Poppy felt about herself and her own desires. It was, thank you. The sexy lady said it was very insta love or insta sex, whatever.
All of the above.
All the above. Yeah, it went a little too quick for me. Like I was really hoping for more build up. So there was more of a sense of temptation, but it was just like it just felt like he just dove right in from that first confessional. He was already contemplating breaking his vows, and that was just really quick for me. So hold on. Let me see. So we said we might continue. I said that the books are so pretty. I have the book that has the flowers on it. So I was thinking about continuing just because the books are so pretty and I'd like to have the collection. But also I'm kind of like probably just a weirdo that was interested in the plot of the story. Like, and so I was like, I kept reading because I was interested in seeing what was going to happen. But apparently Sinner was good.
The small element that is the plot.
Is Sinner the next one?
I think so.
Yes, it's like Sinner than Saint. How did Sinner go? Like what was that about? It follows
Sinner is
Sean.
the one with the nun.
No, jump right in. Hello.
The one with the nun.
Oh, the one with the nun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where she's about to become a nun, but she wants to be taught how to have sex. Desiree, you were obviously not listening to anything that I said regarding.
I heard you say the nun, and then like, yeah, I think I
listen.
I missed.
Do you hear this? Want more provocative romance? This whole thing I was talking about. It says she's my best friend's little sister. She's too young for me, like way too young, and she's a nun, or about to be anyway. Is what it says. But he wants her, is what it says here.
Wow. Okay. I'm wondering how that's gonna go. Like, is Sean just gonna be like Tyler, just reskinned with a different name? You know, she wants to know what she'll be giving up.
But he's not the religious one in this scenario. It's her.
Right. But like,
because she's gonna become a nun.
But is he hopefully? I don't know. I just want that like. I think what am I looking for? I want the strong desire. right? But I want there to be like space,
A
like
plot.
time, like give it some time, like I hope he
Space for there to be a
struggles a
plot.
bit more before he decides that he wants to ruin this nun's life.
I think we should buddy read it. We should totally buddy read the
I was
second one.
Yes, yeah, probably. Okay, he's known her for a while. All right, that's why I was asking you, you're gonna immediately read it or are you just gonna wait a little while?
I mean, we can. Do you want to buddy read Midnight Mass first?
Okay, that's short, I guess. Oh yeah, because that's
Yeah.
like the
Well,
follow-up to the
short.
thing.
It's
200
like
pages.
200 pages still. Like this book is 284 pages. So just take away 84 pages. That's right there. That is Midnight Mass. All right there. It's still 200 pages.
Sexy lady,
Okay.
are you religious? I wanted to know. I want to know how other people feel about how much religion was mixed into the sex in this. I didn't expect it to be so integrated in the way that it was. I thought it was like there's a priest in the church. He's having temptations for this woman, and I thought things were just gonna like happen outside of that with maybe like I didn't expect so much in church fornication to happen.
He lives at the church, though. What are you talking about? He lives at the rectory that is owned by the church.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, but like, hold on. Okay. Fair. Yeah, same. I'm agnostic, so I believe there's something there, but although I grew up Catholic. That's crazy.
And that's why it hits harder for you.
Yeah, because I used to like before I went to Catholic middle school, I had to go to church every Sunday. But I used to like going because of the singing. So like right. Yes. Same. It's important to me to be a decent person. So, all right. Did he hold on? Did he call himself by a second name at some point? Because I felt like there was some weird Tyler Durden stuff. Is that why she named him Tyler? That there was like some weird, like two personality things going on.
I don't remember
Because I
him
feel
being
like he
called
said
anything
something
other than.
like this Tyler versus this other Tyler. I swore I read.
I don't remember
Because
him being called anything other than Tyler or Father.
but he was referring to himself. And then it was I feel like it was touching upon because even Poppy felt it, right? Like she felt that he wanted to be rougher, but he was holding back. And so it seemed like he was alluding
Maybe
to that
he.
there was like a rougher part of him.
Well, maybe he feels like the person he was in college is different from who he is as a priest. Like he feels like maybe he's a
Which,
changed person.
okay. Yeah. Um, I think it was interesting that like he was trying to be like rough with her but cautious at the same time, and there was that one part that she was like, don't be the nice guy, like don't worry about how I feel because this is what I want.
Don't be the priest.
No. Oh my god, stuff. I think she called his chivalry outdated or something at some point. Yeah. So crazy that he was just out there mastering all these women and then he was like, I'm going to be a priest.
My face hurts from laughing so
You know, when I started reading this, I was just like, should I be like notating things? Because there was part of me that wanted to, especially in the beginning, because some of the quotes were just were a lot. Like they were just.
Um,
I think I sent you one today.
I
What
knew
did I
that this
say?
was.
Hold on.
I think I knew this was going to be experience when at the end of the prologue it says, "I am a priest and this is my confession." I think you did send me because
I say the quote. The quote I sent you today. The quote I sent you today was, "Accept instead the body and blood of Christ. Accept instead of the body and blood of Christ spread before me. I had Poppy Danforth." I'm surprised like more didn't happen with the Eucharist. Because I was expecting it to. And actually when he said, "I come bearing gifts," I was like, what did he bring her? I thought it was going to be the Eucharist for some reason. But then I was like, oh, it's probably the rosary.
I can't. Can't believe it.
All right. Well, we could probably go into final thoughts. Okay, so our final thoughts.
The final thought all around is
that we're going to buddy read the next one.
Read. Yes, we're gonna buddy read Midnight Mass, and I think we should just buddy read the rest of the series.
That's fine. I just need it spaced out a little. Like I don't think I can like plow through the books.
That's fine. That's fine because I'm doing.
Do they get longer though, or are they like relatively like?
Actually, the TikTok that you sent me about the person who did these covers, when she had them all laid out, the last one looked huge.
The longest one. Okay.
I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna look it up now.
Yeah, because I remember seeing that there was a size difference in them.
Let's see. Saint is 482 pages.
What?
That's huge. This isn't even three. Yes.
It's like
this isn't even 300 pages.
Yeah, it was like 280 something.
It's like double. Sinner is 478 pages.
Oh my god.
How is it double this? I don't understand.
Maybe it's because Midnight Mass, like if you combine Priest and Midnight Mass, it would be kind of the same size.
Midnight Mass is 190 pages. Oh my god. Also, is that a poinsettia? Is that like a pink poinsettia?
That looks like holly. So yeah, probably.
Oh, that makes more sense. All right. Well.
All right. So we both give this 4 for different reasons. 4 stars. And we're probably going to read the next ones. And for our next quarter, I don't have the book. You have the book? For our next quarter, we're going to be reading The Rewind by Allison Winn Scotch, which is a book of the month book that we both picked up. And is there like some time travel in it or something?
I don't know. I don't know anything about this book except it's set around like I think if it's not set around Christmas, it's set around it's on New Year's Eve. So think of it as like Christmas in July.
So this book that's what we're reading. It's a
this book is going to be positively wholesome. Wholesome after what we just read.
I'm looking forward to it. And I think it has like a bunch of 90s references or something. And I grew up in the 90s, so I'm excited about that.
It says, "Tonight they'll fall in love," like it's 1999 right on the cover.
Nice.
And it's set on New Year's Eve at the end of 1999. And it's a rom-com. I'm just happy I'm going to have another Book of the Month book done because I've only read one this year.
Same.
So, and I think isn't this a 2022 one?
I think
Or was it
so.
20? I want to switch over to my Book of the Month app.
I'm not sure, but you should probably double check. I feel like I might have checked that before I selected it. Because if it's 2021, it's not going to count for either of us.
No, this is 2022. Okay. I don't have anything left that's 2021. Okay. So we have to finish our 2022 ones before the new year, or else they're not going to count for the Book of the Month challenge anymore. And I have 4 left from 2022, and this is one of them. So I don't think we have a live show date for this yet, but it's going to be early August.
No, this book is contemporary romance, right? Or just romance? The genre?
It's a rom-com.
Okay, it's a rom-com.
It is a big-hearted and nostalgic rom-com.
Nostalgic. I'm down with that. I'm looking forward to that. So once more, I just want to sincerely apologize to Princess from Castle Library because she was supposed to join us. We were really looking forward to having her, and I totally effed up the time zone situation, and I told her that the live show was going to be at the wrong time, and that is so my bad, and I feel terrible about it. I think the conversation would have been wonderful to hear her perspective, and that was my mistake. I'm still going to drop her link in the description and stuff, so you should definitely go check out her channel, and hopefully I can get my brain to work and we can schedule something else where she can join us on a different discussion. So if you're seeing this after the fact, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Sexy lady, thanks for being here and for commenting and joining in the conversation. And I guess, do we have an official date for the next one?
Or I don't think we do. No, all I know is it's going to be early August. And that's all we have.
Our discussion will be early August. As soon as we've nailed down a date, I'll edit the description to include it. So you can follow us on Twitter. At Quarter Romance. And then Chloe will be tweeting like upcoming dates and stuff like that. Was there something else you wanted to add, Chloe?
Also follow us at BookTube Chicks too, because on Instagram and Twitter, because I post the quarterly romance stuff on that Instagram. And also you can come see us with Kat and talk about our BookTube Chicks Book Club books with us.
Yeah, our next BookTube Chicks Book Club book is going to be Beartown by Frederick Bachman, and our discussion for that is on the 28th at 6 p.m. So, all right, everyone, have a wonderful Sunday. Bye.